We're celebrating Women's Day, and of course, how can we not celebrate the Wonder Women of Indian cinema? For us, this is our list of women who've made a difference by choosing films that have paved way for other women in cinema as well. In this Wonder Women list, we obviously have Taapsee Pannu. Taapsee, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for always being biased towards me, Rani.
I'm not biased at all. I think you have made such choices. Do you feel like a Wonder Woman on most days?
I actually always felt that there's some sort of a superpower in me, which even I haven't realized till now. But I think one fine day I'll realize, and eventually people will cast me in one superhero film saying that she is like a bona fide born superhero. I'm a huge fan of superhero series, be it Avengers or X-Men. So in my head, I think I always wanted to be a superhero in real life.
Before I sort of continue with the interview, we've also asked the men who are close to Taapsee's life and at least one man in this particular scenario. So this particular man has given a message for Taapsee, and we're going to show it to her, and he talks about why he feels he's her Wonder Woman. So here we go.
Oh my God.
And probably you'd like to hear this.
Of course. You have to find this man. Look at his face.
Hi Taapsee, I'm here to give a testimony to your character. So I expect a big fat check in my name after I finish doing this. I've been asked to say why I think you're very strong. I think Taapsee is very strong because once she punched me and it still hurts. Somewhere over here she punched and it still hurts. And that way she's extremely strong. I think she's one of those rare women I've found who's very convinced, very motivated, very...
He's at loss of words.
Pause and cut and
he said pause and cut kar lena, he was telling us.
And I think she's incredibly motivated and makes others people motivated, like someone who doesn't want to do a film, she gets into a film. And so, and I think, you know, she's and a strength, you know, she's like a superwoman, you know, her superpower is probably talking. She can talk. Yeah, she can really talk. She can win battles with her talking. She can change the world with her talking. So I think that way she's definitely a superwoman. Yeah, Taapsee, big paisa bhej.
So you saw the message that Shujoy had for you. He said your superpower is talking, and you can convince anybody to do anything.
Oh God, yeah. I always thought I was perfect to be a marketing executive because I could talk and convince people for a lot of things. I agree to that. No, it's because I think I'm very sure of what I want, what I don't want, and when I'm sure, I think I can convince the other person also that, you know, this is the right thing to do or not a right thing to do. Yeah, I think that is what he's referring to, and because I forced him to do this film.
So he already feels that you have some sort of this magnetic power over him.
Not magnetic, like persistence wali power, that I'll push and force and till the end keep pushing till he agrees to do the film.
You know, we were talking about women taking those choices. We already know the kind of films that you've done. But like we were discussing some time back as well, I think it's not always easy to make those choices. There are a lot of obstacles that come in the way. What have been your sort of greatest obstacles when you're choosing films, even now, you know?
The one good thing that happened with all the films that I've done is that, you know, you sow what you reap, you reap what you sow, you know, that kind of a scenario. So the kind of films I did eventually ended up making me get so many opportunities to do more such kind of films. But I'll tell you, the biggest obstacle is when we have a film in which the girl's role is extremely strong, maybe at par with the guy or probably a little better than the male character, we don't end up getting the kind of names or stars that we expect to be a part of that film. No big actor would want to do that kind of a film, which I think lately I've been observing with the kind of films that I choose. And if you see any other film also, barring the films like Shabana, where Akshay sir is a producer also, and then he does a cameo, and then be it SRK sir, who did a role in Dear Zindagi, where he was also a part producer. Apart from that, if you see most of the films where the girl's character is the central character, the male protagonist will always be someone who's probably not as big a star as that girl at that point. So it doesn't, but it's the same doesn't happen the other way around. A female gets ready to be the top of the top actress. She's okay to work with an actor and when she has a lesser role or a smaller part, because probably, you know, we are fine with it, or we are not really that insecure about things. Or I don't know, this has been the conditioning over so many years that it's okay for the female to play a smaller part, but it's probably not okay for a hero to play a smaller part. So that is an obstacle that we are still facing. I hope that changes one day.
No, I really hope that should. You know, on similar lines, when we are talking about sort of overcoming obstacles, do you see the mindsets have really changed post everything that has happened? It can be post Me Too, it can be post this, you know, this entire thing about getting better roles being written for
It's a great time to be an actor, and even greater time to be a female actor right now, because things are changing drastically, and with every passing second, the roles are getting better and better for females, the scripts are getting better and better, audiences are opening up to female protagonist films. They are no more calling those female protagonist films as offbeat or little unconventional cinema. So yeah, so I think things are changing at a very fast pace now.
Why do you still feel that you're not an insider here?
I will never feel like that, because I think there's an outsider syndrome that's probably in our head, and here and there, now and then, sometimes we feel like that, made to feel like that, but mostly it's something that is psychologically embedded in a way. To each their own. Many outsiders don't feel so. I feel so because I've kind of accepted I'll have to take a longer path, which will be testing me every film I do. I don't have a fallback. Godfather, big star, big studio, big producer, big anyone supporting me. All by myself, I have to slowly, steadily walk. So it's a slower journey. It's going to be a longer journey, but it's going to be mine. So nobody can come tomorrow and claim the credit of making me who I am. So I'm happy with being slow and steady in that scenario, because of which I'll always feel like someone who always tried to make space for her own self by herself, which makes me feel like, you know, an outsider.
But and you also don't go to the usual Bollywood gang of parties,
because
or the
people keep asking me that, and I think yes, I do lose out on quite a few films because of that. I agree, but but the problem is I have issues with socializing with an agenda. I can't socialize with an agenda. I am very good at socializing. As Sujoy said, I can talk. I can talk.
But मजे करने हैं.
You see how I am chilling on my film sets. You'll realize how much fun I can really have with people who I work with, because then they are not thinking कि इसका कोई agenda है मेरे से बात करने का. So that's the problem. I have an issue being called a social climber. I have issue with being called as someone who socializes with an agenda. So I can't do that.
Yeah, but you're doing great on your own.
Yeah,
so
I'm happy with whatever little
in your
steps
space
I'm taking. Yeah.
But also, one thing that I love, and I hope that you never change about yourself, is the way you respond to your troll bhakts. I think that bhakt is because they are so religious in trolling you. I remember I wouldn't call it a troll, but a comment that he said, "I love your body parts," and how you responded to it. Yeah, my cerebrum is one of my favorite comments. Like I wanted to quote it and tell somebody else, because that's women in general, actors obviously, because you all put glamorous pictures out. Women, so you're constantly bombarded with these horrible DMs of commenting on your cleavages and you know, body parts and all of that, right?
Yeah.
Tell us what was going through your head when you read that comment, because they were like bang
I think I was just probably getting bored waiting for something, and that's when I replied to most of these trollers. I never give them that much of importance that they can really affect me mentally. I use them to my advantage. So एक दो का पूरा time चल रहा था कि एक को पकड़ लिया मैंने और answer कर दिया. So that's how I use them. They don't better if they realize it. I think वो शायद वो ट्रोल करना बंद कर देंगे, क्योंकि I literally use them. तो जिस दिन मेरे पास टाइम बहुत होगा ना, मैं एक दो को पकड़ के कुछ ऐसा आंसर कर दूंगी जिसका एकदम जो वायरल हो जाएगा और जिसकी वजह से गूगल सर्च बढ़ जाती है उस वर्ड की, which I was honestly surprised. I was like, what really? Like that I felt like an achievement. मतलब कुछ तो सही किया लड़की ने.
But then yeah, because the amount of, like I said, DMs and messages, like sleazy ones.
That they keep coming. They come even now. But you know, as I said, they're not worth my time and effort. I only do it when I have time in my hand and I want to just do some entertainment for my followers.
while I'm ending this interview, I'd like to obviously talk about how we one day off the camera had chatted. We will not take names here because it was an off the record conversation. We had, and you'll remember this as well. We had chatted about how when an actor was getting married, a lot of producers and a lot of other people, or you know, or from the industry, had a very objective way of saying that the person should not get married, like a female actor, her career will get over. And we discussed about how sad that that mentality still exists.
It exists.
You know, what do you have to say about that?
It exists. It's getting better with a lot of people now, like trying to look beyond it. It is. We have people who are looking beyond it, but it still exists. I still hear people talking about अब हो गया उसकी शादी हो चुकी है, अब क्या उसको क्या ज़रूरत है लेने की इस रोल में, अरे मतलब अब तो उसकी फैमिली भी हो चुकी है, तो अब क्या ज़रूरत है उसको. So it's very disgusting to stand those comments, but they still happen, and I've heard it. So it's very much there. I hope and I'm praying it will go very soon, but it is still very much there, which is a mark of misogyny in our society, which exists. So you first acknowledge it and then let's deal with it.
Well, thank you once again. True that. And on that note, if you could tell who's your Wonder Woman and wish everybody else, all the wonderful men and women sitting out there.
I think with the things that women struggle and face in this country and everywhere else, be it from infanticide, feticide, to the education issues, to probably just getting a basic job, to be allowed to study, to be allowed to marry the person who she wants to allow her to follow the profession she wants to. I think each and every one of you out there who is still alive and living deserve to be called a Wonder Woman.